So the question has been proposed. How big is your God? We know that our God is so infinite, so big, so vast, that it encompasses the speakers, the listeners, the audience, the birds, the winds, the flowers. It is all God. And so as we take this moment to recognize that even the shadows, the rain, the storms, even fall within that umbrella of spirit, we can recognize that everything is perfect just as it is. And so as we embrace that love, that light, that inner knowingness, we can just sit in that peace, in that bliss, and that stillness. And so with confidence, we just give grace. We give great thanks for this awareness of how big our God is. And so it is. Well, good morning and happy rainy Sunday. As you know, we are an interfaith gathering, a spiritual community that honors all teachings and all spiritual teachers. And now we begin our ceremony that celebrates this oneness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths come for the one universal presence, which we call spirit. Our candlelight are already jumping out of their seat this morning. Mr. Drake, thank you. And so let us begin. The Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous people, the way of pristine spirituality. How you doing over there, friend? Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. That light is flickering. Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. Our last candle is the healing candle of love. We invite you in the stillness of your own mind to bring to awareness the names of anyone or anything that you wish to be included in this healing flame of love and light. And now that our flames of faith are fully lighted, we move forward into our celebration, realizing and reaffirming that all paths lead to God. Thank you so much, Mr. Hughes. Now, of course, I have an inspirational quote for you today, and it is by our very own Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind, page 121, if you were curious. Our teaching is that man actually has a body, that he actually has a subjective life, and that he actually is a spirit. Body, soul, and spirit represent a point where individuality is accentuated in universality. We are forced to the conclusion that there is but one mind. Each individual, however, is a unique variation in the universe. No two people are alike, and yet all people are rooted in that which is identical. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, happy Sunday once again. It is July, halfway through, and I don't know where time has gone, but I know that we are here, and that's what matters most. So, a couple of quick announcements before our minister's moment. We have welcome packets. Judy's flagging me down. Thank you. I see you, Judy. We have welcome packets. If you happen to be here for your very first time this morning, if you're not feeling inclined to reach your hand up in the air, no biggie. You can find beautiful, lovely Miss Judy at any point in time after service for your packet. Or if you are feeling like you want it hand delivered, boom, we got you there. Just stick your hand up. Now, something that we are very well known for also, I'm going to insert here at the center, is prayer. And whether that's prayer for something that might be troubling you, if that's prayer to reaffirm something that is blessing you, we are here to take that moment regardless. You can submit a prayer request formally while you are here. You can write it down on paper and submit it. You can email us. You can call us. There's always a way to be supported, and we are trained and honored to support you through that prayer. Okay, a few announcements. We have adjusted our office hours so people are aware. We are still having those days Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We are just adjusting them from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. From now through the 22nd. So if you are looking to get a hold of somebody and you don't right away, we've had some slight adjustments. Now, another couple of things that I can tell you is we are still doing our weekly meditation. That will be on Wednesdays. You can join virtually. And then our gracious giving for our last couple months, just to make sure that you know where your funds, your contributions are going. We were able to support in May the Fresh International Gardens with a donation of over $300, which we love to see. And then in June, we were supporting the Beacon Hill foster kids. And we know the youth is our future, so having a chance to support them has also been great. Aside from that, I'm going to pass off to Mr. Fleming for our minister's moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevie. I want to give a big shout out to those who showed up yesterday for a day of cleaning of our center. We had a lot of fun, and we actually got some work done too. The windows, over 5 years since the windows have been cleaned in and out. And many, many thanks to Marie Machman, who did the outside. She's going to be out of town, so she came in during the week and did the outside. And Wayne Koppel, thank you, Wayne, did all the inside ones. There's a whole world out there I didn't know about. So some of the people that contributed to the fun, Michelle Scammon, of course, Ladora, Wayne, I already mentioned. Dana got kind of a dirty job, but she did it. It's awesome. Judy came in and did her job early too, the candle closet. She found the culprit scented candle. Boy. Let's see who else. Judy, Ladora again, Michelle, Bob, and Bob. Made a lot of contributions there. Bob, thank you. And his pickup truck is still full of stuff to go to the dump. Ann took the kitchen, and Claire and did the room. See who else. And then Michelle again. So, hey, Kaleem, that's right. He wasn't on the list, so I didn't have him, but Kaleem added a good few moments of comedy relief as well. So thank you all for coming out and cleaning up our spiritual home. Thank you. Several years ago, a man came to me, not so much for counseling, but I think more for guidance. I think he'd already really made up his mind, but I think he wanted confirmation. The situation was that he had a good job, and he liked his job. Very well compensated, 6 figures. He had a wonderful wife and family. Things were great. But his real passion in life was kids, working with kids and particularly disadvantaged kids. And he had been volunteering for a program that allowed him to coach basketball after school to these kids, and he absolutely loved it. And it's what gave him meaning to life. It was so important to him that he did that. And this organization was looking for more of a full-time person than just a volunteer coach for evenings. And in order to make his life all that it could be, he had decided that perhaps the best thing for him to do was to quit this really nice job and take the position with working with youth. And that was a good choice for him. He really felt good about that. And he talked it over with his wife, and she was supportive. She knew they'd have to sell the big house and get a much smaller place, and they'd have to make a lot of adjustments on their own. She'd have to return to the workforce. But they felt good about it. And so we talked about it. We ended up with a solution that wasn't exactly the same as what we might have anticipated, but it was a real moment. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But right now, I want to welcome everyone, all of you who have turned out today. I apologize. This is not a bait and switch. It was not. We didn't attract you in by telling you that Linda was going to be here today and then stick me up. She was ill this morning. I don't know whether she hasn't recovered sufficiently from the illness that she had before, or maybe her immune system was battered enough that she picked up some other bug floating around, but she was unable to join us today. So at 9:15 this morning, she called and said she wasn't going to be here, and so you got me. Our monthly theme is Practice Makes Imperfect. And today I'm going to talk about leaning into imperfection. But before we do, I want to move into a Japanese concept. It's called ikigai. And I think we have a slide for ikigai. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope that you can see it there, and the people online hopefully have that, and they can just listen to me and look at it. But the idea is that we've created this Venn diagram. What you start off with is what you love. What do you love in life? I love fly fishing. I love this philosophy. I love a lot of things in life. And so we list all the things that we love. And then the second thing is, what are you good at? Well, I'm trying to get better at living my life in accordance with this philosophy. I'm trying to get better at fly fishing. But those are areas that I feel comfortable in, I like. Then what does the world need? And we list all the things that the world needs today. And, conservation of cold water and clean streams and things is important to the world. And then lastly, what can you be paid for? How can you use these things to drive your economic engine within your life? And that's the problem that the council gentleman came to me with, is the pay for this part-time, kind of full-time job was very, very minimal. And while it totally fulfilled, he absolutely loved it. He was good at it. I mean, these kids, he turned them into a fantastic basketball team, and the world needs examples. I mean, all of the other three things were just there in abundance, but there was no economic engine to drive it. He couldn't be paid for what it was. We can see that when we take the things that we love and then you put that in a circle and then you put all the things in a circle of what are you good at, there is an overlap, and that is passion. Those are the things that are passionate about. We take the circle of what you love and the things that what the world needs, and where those overlap is a mission. And then we can look at the bottom circle, what you can be paid for. So what you can be paid for, where that overlaps with what you're good at, becomes our profession. And what you can be paid for overlaps with what the world needs, becomes our vocation. But the secret is where all four circles come together is what the Japanese call the ikigai. And I remember that we recently got back after 4 days in Talkeetna, out in the middle of nowhere, working hard every day, and there isn't any shower yet. And well, you can get pretty ripe out there and I'm back in town, and I think I heard some lady say, "Ooh, that's an icky guy." And so that's how I remember this ikigai. It's an ikigai. And it is the intersection of those four things. And the result of ikigai, and I didn't make it into my notes, but it is a life that is fulfilled. It is a life of joy. It is a life of simplicity. It is something that brings something to you and to the world. So how all this ties into today is the idea of imperfection and how that fits in. My 3 points today are going to be, I'm talking about embracing imperfection, then I'm going to talk about oneness, and finally I'm going to talk about wholeness. Embracing imperfection. Imperfection can be a catalyst for growth. Specifically, it can be a catalyst for spiritual growth. Dan Granda is Signs of My Minister. He graduated about the same time I did, and he is the spiritual director of the Soul Evolution Collaborative. It's in California, and it's kind of a new thing within our movement. It's called a teaching chapter. We have teaching centers, we have teaching chapters. They're focused on taking our mission and teaching it to the world. But this is what he wrote. By leaning into imperfection, we open ourselves up to a world of new experiences and perspectives, allowing us to cultivate self-acceptance and a deeper connection to the divine presence within and around us. When we can fully accept ourselves, including our imperfections, we can then come closer and being able to recognize the divine within ourselves. But as long as we are judging ourselves, we're not good enough, we're not perfect, then it's so hard to see ourselves as expressions of the one. Imperfection can then be a catalyst for spiritual growth. Our second point is oneness, and still dealing with Reverend Dan Granda. Each individual with their unique imperfections contributes to the wholeness of the divine. By recognizing and honoring this diversity, we deepen our appreciation for the inner interconnectedness of all beings and the richness that it brings to our collective experience. Embracing imperfection. Our next, our oneness. Ernest Holmes. This was from Beverly Hills lecture that he delivered in 1952. Unity and uniformity are not the same. No two blades of grass are alike. Well, what does this mean spiritually? It means that incarnated within each of us is not only a divine spark, not only an incarnation of the living spirit of the cosmos, but a unique presentation of the cosmic whole. If we can accept this concept that Spirit, God, the thing itself, is infinite in every direction, and is in, around, and through all of creation. It is in, around, and through you. And if we can accept the position that this infinite creative thing is perfect in every way, then everything within you must be perfect, because you were created from this force, from this thing, whatever it is. And so you must be perfect. All of these things that we judge as imperfections are really just our judgments. And if we can let those go, and I don't think we have to be so serious about this all the time. I think it's okay to say, oops. I think it's okay to say, I didn't think of that. You know, oops, I messed that one up. It's okay. I think I've shared with you, I know I've shared with you a bunch of times about my trip here every day and getting off the Seward Highway and turning on to Diamond, Abbott, kind of where it comes around there, and you get off that. And that light is a long one. And it used to really bother me. I'd come around that corner and look up at the light, and when that baby snapped yellow, and you knew you weren't going to make it through, and you knew you were going to be sitting there for a long time. And I could just feel my blood pressure going up. You know, but even that inconvenience is part of a bigger imperfection, is part of something that's so much larger. It's, you know, in those moments where maybe if I'd have caught that light, I'd have gone through just in enough time to get T-boned as I go through Diamond and Old Seward. You don't know. We don't know what the rest of this is happening with us. But let's just take it as is. And if it goes, it's there. Unity and uniformity are not the same thing. This is what I want you to take away today. No, before I get to that, see, this is what you get when you don't practice. The third point is wholeness. Embracing the wholeness of life. In exploring this concept of wholeness, we're invited to embrace imperfection as an essential aspect of our being. Imperfections are not shortcomings, but rather valuable components that add depth and meaning to the mosaic of life. By celebrating the variety and breadth of human experience, we develop a greater appreciation for the intricacies and complexities of our existence. Through this lens, imperfections become threads that we weave together in a tapestry of beauty and self-discovery, reminding us of the infinite possibilities that unfold when we release the constraints of perfectionism. Out at the airport in the C concourse, there is a big mural. I mean, this thing takes up, wow, the entire wall, and it's a big section of it. And I don't even remember what the big picture is. I think it's a salmon and something else. I don't remember all what it is. But what I remember is this big mosaic, this big picture, is made up of individual small pictures of everyday Alaskans doing everyday things. Washing dishes, catching fish, I mean, doing all kinds of just things that we do as Alaskans. Skiing, snowing, snow machining. And all of these little pictures of everyday Alaskans go together to make this incredible mosaic, this beautiful, beautiful picture. And I think that's kind of what it is. And within all of those smaller pictures, there are a whole bunch of imperfections. And some of the pictures are cut in half, and some of the people, sometimes a guy's cut out of it or something. But whatever it is, it all goes together to make this beautiful mosaic. Now, we get to what I want you to remember. By embracing imperfection in these ways, we embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. We are invited to look for places in our lives where our imperfections are asking us to shift our perception, embrace diversity and uniqueness, and recognize the significance of imperfections in personal growth. Through this exploration, we uncover new pathways to self-acceptance, authenticity, a greater sense of belonging in the vast tapestry of existence. And so, with this awareness of the concept of ikigai, that when we can put these four elements together to create a beautiful life, and we marry that with this idea that our imperfections are really part of something that's much greater and is absolutely perfect. With that as a foundation, I'm asking my colleagues, the practitioners, to join me in holding our congregation, those here in the room, those online, those that will watch during the week, our city, our state, our country, the world, in prayer, and recognizing that that infinite presence, which is God, is within all of everything. Every mistake, everything is all part of a greater activity, is all part of something that is so beautiful, so magnificent, and sometimes so large that we can't see it. We can't see the whole tapestry. We don't see the whole mosaic. And so in this moment, what we can do is claim that which we can see, which we know, which we do. And we can affirm that which is good. We can release that which no longer serves us. And so as we enter into this political season in our country, which is so deeply divided, we can condemn violence of any type. For killing and looting and demeaning other people is not part of the activity of the divine. It may be part of a greater pattern of imperfection. It may be part of a greater pattern that is absolutely beautiful, but we don't need to sit by and allow ourselves to judge any of it. And we don't need to step into it in activities that are destructive or harmful. We can just sit in a place of absolute love, knowing that each and every person, each and every animal, every living being is a product, is a manifestation of God. And we release our judgments. We only see that which is good. We give thanks. We give thanks for our awareness of a power that's greater than we are in our lives, that is the center of the ikigai, that is the truth, capital T truth, of who we are. This we give thanks for. This we are grateful for. Now we can just embrace that and let it go. We don't need to do all of the heavy lifting because there's a power that created all of this that's there working with and for us. We give thanks, we let it go, we let it be, and so it is. Amen. So it is. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Aaron. You guys are awesome. And for those of you who couldn't make it here today and are having to watch online, boy, if you can ever make it here, there's a lot of difference between what the experience of music is here versus through my tinny old computer speakers at home, I'll tell you that.
I'll drink to that.
Judy.
I will.
I want to recognize some of the people that are online, and it's good that I do. Michelle Kuntz, Cynthia George, there's another person that I forgot to mention that she did her duties early, and she had a bad one too. She had the connection hallway that has all of the files that we haven't cleaned out since wherever. You know, you're supposed to keep your records for 7 years. Oh, we had records, the IRS, yeah, we were back like 20 years. Anyway, she cleaned up everything. She did a great job. Thank you, Cynthia. Barbara Taylor, thank you for being here. Diane Carr, I believe. And Luann, I don't know if that's...
P.
Oh, Luann Pogue, okay. Who else have we got?
Me.
Judy. Judy did the candle closet, and she found the, what do you call it? Scented one.
Yes.
Boy, you only takes one little candle in that thing, and
It smells up the whole place.
that was a good way to put that. That was better than I would have. Our affirmation, divine God, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Well, let us do just that. Let us be still and know that it is our imperfections that draw us closer to that one steady truth. Know that when things may not on the surface appear to be right, underneath it is a divine soil that breathes life and existence into all things. Let us take this faith with us as we travel into our communities. When the things may not seem to add up, when the challenges start to arise, when the clouds may start to form, we can just be still and know. It is with this knowingness, with this faith, with this eagerness that we can face the things that challenge us, that try us, that we may take a step back and see that even the icky guy belongs within the icky guy. And so we just find that love, we find that acceptance, and we let it be. And so it is. I have an affirmation for you. I am unique. I am united. I am imperfectly perfect. And so it is.